I know that those are important woods for like folklore purposes, but I don't know what
Pardon
song
me
those
while I
specifically are.
interrupt Wood Appreciation Hour. Hey guys, welcome to Star Trek Lexington, Last of the
The
Line.
Arbor Day edition.
Arbor Day,
Something
nice.
like that. Also, Matt, your device is about to die. I'm seeing a little blinking battery icon.
Let's see, how much percent do I have? I have 22%.
Well,
Oh, he's done sessions on Last Tripper.
Yeah.
okay. If both of you,
I've come in the game and been like, Matt, why is your phone at like 7%? And he's like, it's fine, it's fine.
It's
I
fine.
will,
I can make it through the 2 hours.
I will trust the captain. But anyhow, okay. Hi. Yes, Star Trek Lexington, live from the college dorms again because this has been the worst week of my life, and I don't want to talk about it because I'd rather do Star Trek.
Escapism.
I'd rather do escapism. That is literally my yes, whatever, man. Okay, so hi, hello world. It's been a fun time. You guys ready to do this? I'm ready to do this. I've been ready to do this literally since we quit last week.
Wow.
I don't remember what this is, but yes.
This
I-
is
This
Star
is in
Trek.
support of Extra Life. That's what it is.
It is
That's
Sport
true.
Vector.
This is
How about the
support of
segue?
Which-
How about that for a segue? Come
Stay
on now.
tuned.
Yeah, well played, sir. Well
Stay
played.
tuned to the end of our program for more details. All right. So we'll do now that I'm actually taking session notes like a good GM. Jeez.
What?
Yeah, I've started doing
Session
that.
notes. What are those?
I know, right? Okay, so for a brief recap, we talked to Tara too, a whole bunch of people, like the three sisters, the secretary sisters. Uh, talked to, let's see, talked to Alberta Nicola. That's the Secretary of Science. She's agreed to be looking into now ways to transport apparently asteroids instead of a planet to use to shepherd the of Tavar because it's kind of falling into the sun.
Make our own planet.
Yes, build a planet workshop. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. We talked to the Secretary of Intelligence, Hoover McNamara. We gave him logs, the stuff we got from the Ardestian Data Core, in exchange for information on the Cochrane's interactions with the Ardestians, or as they know them, the Reds, specifically the logs from the Mars when they had their first encounter. We're still actually waiting on that, so we have not. I don't believe we've actually left the planet just yet, because we have not gotten those.
Actually,
Or did we?
we were um making our way because they found the ship that kidnapped our senior staff.
Yes, I didn't remember where I. That was the way we ended, but I did. Actually, I think
Yes.
yeah, we were heading to the wormhole facility. Yes,
Yep.
we were en
And
route there
then-
when we got the news. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
See, the captain knows.
So yeah, we called the wormhole station. We were informed that a quarter of the densite supply got destroyed by the vice director. So apparently, Gehenna it is. I will tell you that that figure was actually decided by dice roll. So yay. So yeah, you have to go to Gehenna, and the vice director who destroyed a quarter of the densite is actually the person that's the biggest expert on densite. So she is going to be accompanying us. But then we got a call from our good friend Captain Blevins, the Elizabeth Blevins, the one that the USS,
Female type.
the CDF Cochrane, yes, the
The
one
good
that's-
Blevins.
yes, the good Blevins. So they found the wreckage of the scout ship that took the senior staff. Best they could tell, there's no evidence of human remains, but most of the ship and crew was vaporized in a warp core explosion. What's left of the wreckage has been taken by the ship that found it, and they're going to rendezvous with us so we can inspect it ourselves. But yes, the apparently they did. That is all signs point to death right now. So on the bridge at that moment, Hero was on the bridge during that call. Where were you during that, Tim? At the very end last time, or did we even specify?
I don't think we specified. I had done something. I was making some calls, and
Okay.
I think this was all happening while concurrently with me making the calls to the science officer or something.
Okay. So then,
Intelligence people.
of the current group, the only ones that were on the bridge, actually of our 5 players, the only ones that would have been on the bridge would have been Crystal and Hero. So, we're going to pick up there right after the end of the call.
Right after the end of the call, so
Yes.
like fresh, like
Click.
view screen off.
Start.
There we are.
Yes.
Hero turn and look towards the captain, and it's
And
kind of
all
like
you
there's
see
a
is Tim
blink.
with his
There's a
head
blinking,
in his hands. Like,
and Hero will be like, "Sir, a moment in the ready room."
This gonna be good.
sure, why not?
Hero would walk behind the captain as they walked into the ready room. The door closes. Sir, I know you're just hearing this just as I am, and we probably all need to take a process of this, but how do you want to handle this? This is going to get out in the crew very fast.
Yeah, I should probably make some kind of announcement, shouldn't I?
If you don't, it's going to get around this ship pretty fast. It probably already halfway around the ship already. But
Yeah,
you're going to need to make some message at some point.
yeah. But, I mean, theoretically, they're not dead. Because it's one thing that I learned from my Federation history classes, and that is no bodies, no death.
If it didn't happen on screen, it didn't happen.
If there's not a physical body, then they cannot be classified as truly dead. They are missing until proven otherwise.
Sir, is that going to be your message?
Not a chance in hell.
And Nagamura has the nonverbal expressions of like, this is why we're talking about this in this room as opposed to out in the front of the bridge with everybody else. Permission to speak freely, sir.
Granted.
A lot of the crew are going to be upset over this
Yep.
because we didn't send a rescue mission. And I know there's going to be a lot of people, if any of the crew were to be separated from this ship, there is an expectation that we would save them and get them help. And if they truly died out there and we did not send for help, there's going to be a segment of this crew that are going to be very irate because we just broke their trust.
Yeah.
Because I think you and I would both, we know the old captain well enough that if we went missing, he would make it a priority to get us back. So if they're dead and we didn't get them back in time, this crew is going to mutiny. Maybe not everybody, but there's going to be morale's going to plummet. So I don't know what type of message you want to put out, but that choice is now yours. But I want you to consider that. And if we're going to say that there's some hope, we have to make a goddamn concerted effort to find them, or at least prove without a doubt that they are dead.
Yep. So I'm gonna need a minute before I address the crew, though. To concisely figure out how to say it though.
Out of character, I'm glad you rolled that nat 1 out of the way right now.
So I'll say to head back to the bridge. I leave it
sir,
to you.
sir, I'll buy you some time up in the. And I'll tell the bridge that is not to be discussed, pending the captain's further information from the captain.
Please and
But
thank
that's only gonna work for so long.
you. Yep.
And then Nakamura would walk out to the bridge and then tell the bridge crew, "This is not to be discussed. Captain will be addressing us shortly," and leave it
And,
vague.
and then I immediately call Sorab to the ready room.
Uh-oh.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'll head to the ready room. And I'll walk through the bridge and see Hero there and just be like, "Hey."
Just
Hey, and Hero will nod, but like,
Head in.
And he'll notice that he can cut the tension with a butter knife.
yeah, you can tell that like the whole room is like
everyone looks just
electrified.
shocked, stunned.
And then once Sorab comes into the ready room and the door shuts, I'll tell him what we just learned from Captain Blevins.
Which is that they found the ship destroyed.
Yep.
How intact is it?
I think wasn't it like in like multiple pieces?
It had a warp core breach,
Warp core breach.
so maybe 30% intact. But even that 30% is pretty beat up.
Okay.
Now there are no identifiable bodies of the senior staff, but its warp signature matches the one that they were on. And now we are in these positions a lot longer than intended.
Wait.
And now I have the hardest thing to say to this crew since we left Earth.
Wait. Have we been able to track that ship by its warp signature this whole time?
Or was it warp signature or
No, it was did I say warp signature?
I don't think you said warp signature. I know it was some kind of signature.
How we were identified. It's not that's not relevant. It's just you're able to tell it was the same ship. So
Yeah.
that doesn't really matter for.
So not warp signature, but we were able to tell.
As long as I mean, it matters to the extent of was it something we were able to track?
No, it's
Okay.
not like we could have followed the ship. It's just
Okay.
some signature off the ship matches what the scans were when we were fighting it.
Okay. Okay, and I assume you're not telling the crew one by one.
No.
What exactly do you want from me here?
Advice.
You're now the
Because-
chaplain of the captain.
All right, let's start with 5 Hail Marys.
Let's bow our heads.
There's gonna be some Our Fathers in this one.
And we're good. All right, everyone.
All right,
back to normal.
let's go.
Because if you haven't been able to tell yet, I've always been the translation, not the one speaking, until recently. If you haven't been able to tell. And any advice on how to address and tell the crew all of this would be immensely great, immensely helpful.
Okay. Well, I think. Okay. So it's just the two of us. We're in a locked room. No one can hear
Yep.
us, right? All right. Okay. There are a few things that I think we should hit on for this. Uh, One is to open up by informing the crew that we have finally been able to track down the ship that the captain and senior staff were taken by. Unfortunately, that ship is
Into.
we will say that ship has been heavily damaged, and we are on our way now to assess the possibility of the senior staff surviving in the hopes that we'll be able to get them back. Be prepared to answer any questions, but also, I think um, it may be. I think it may be helpful to everybody to explore an option in the midst of this. Look, you have seemed very uncomfortable with being captain this whole time. Is that accurate?
It's been a learning experience. We'll call it that.
Okay. If the crew gets, if the crew looks for somebody to blame before we have answers, that's going to fall on you because you've been the one making the decision since then.
Yep.
Now, this appears to be a position you didn't want to have in the first place. It's a position you've been struggling with, if we're honest, and it's one that puts all of the weight on you from the crew if they're mad about this. So, if there is, if we think that there's going to be that kind of tension, I think it would be wise and beneficial to everybody, including yourself, to have somebody named as the person that's going to take over. Essentially, be prepared to say, "Hey, um, I am owning the decisions I made during this time. I am trying to finish this mission. I'm going to captain us through this investigation. And if the captain is not recovered, then I am handing the con over to so and so."
Okay.
I don't think you should necessarily introduce that possibility unless there is very clear push in that direction. Like if it looks like
Yeah.
that's going to be what needs to happen to prevent a mutiny
Mutiny.
or an act. Yeah, if it looks like there's a contingent that might be thinking in that direction, that would be a good way, I think, to head that off. They're not going to want to interrupt anything during the investigation because they want the investigation to actually happen. And if they have assurance that we're either going to have our captain back or you're going to take the fall for your decisions, at the point when something could happen, at the point when they could make a move, it'll undercut them.
Yeah.
like I said, that's the speech how I would encourage you to phrase it is emphasize that we have finally found their ship. Most of these people have no idea how hard we've been looking for them, or the fact that we've been talking to, the Terrans about getting help to find the ship or anything like that. They're they don't know what the degree of they don't know what's been happening, and so framing it that way does highlight that we have been putting effort in to find them, and this is the first clue we've got. Um, Emphasize that we are there. We are on our way right now to, in the hopes that they're alive, in order to assess that and hopefully find clues of where they went and how to get them back. Um, in Leave it for the question and answer time to state, that there was a warp core breach, and so we don't know what the odds of survival are. We haven't assessed lifeboat situation. We haven't assessed whether or not another ship was involved. We haven't assessed any of that yet. We're on our way there, and so if it's unlikely, there is with the warp core breach, it does hinder the odds that they're alive if they're still on that ship. But if they're not, then we have a starting place to go from.
Okay.
Is there anything
The
else I
weight
can
of
do
command.
Not yet.
for you? Okay. Should I
Where's the
wait on the bridge, or do you guys need to be doing something somewhere else?
Uh, I would say to resume whatever it is that you were doing before I called you up here.
I actually just finished. I made some arrangements to get the data we need. It's just gonna take some time to do it.
Okay.
The next thing that I really even could do is go and try to speak to the Ardestian again, and inform them that the Terrans don't know that they're here, and that data is on its way. The data that we agreed I was going to look for is on its way, and I got clearance for him to reach out without informing the Terrans that we have Ardestians on our ship.
Yeah.
Assuming he lets me say anything before attacking.
Yeah. But I would say I want to hold off on having him contact the rest of the Ardestians until after we um, get to this get to the rendezvous and get what information we can. That
Okay.
way, we're not in the middle of talking with a bunch of the Terrans and Cochranes while we're having an Ardestian contact their home world.
Right. That's fine. I want to be very clear. The suggestion about having a plan for stepping down is not because I feel that you have made the wrong decisions here.
No, it's more of it's like worst case scenario.
Yeah,
Prepare for all contingencies.
yes, it's a strategic move.
There's a reason you're the one I go to for advice.
All right. Well, I will. I'll head out to the bridge and start working on just keeping an ear out for that information that I asked for to come in.
All right.
And I imagine we're going to need every engineer we can. That is my actual field of study, so I will
Wait,
prepare
seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just does the chaplain thing on the side.
No, like that's in character. Like,
Yeah.
wait, you're an engineer, not an actual like diplomat by trade.
I know you haven't had a lot of downtime, but it probably would have been a good idea to check up on who your staff was once you took over the chair. But
Probably.
If he was a good captain, he would have done
if you
that.
if you continue in this position, I would encourage you to do that as soon as possible.
I
Damn.
mean, you were
But
you were named like primary diplomat in place of the commander.
yeah, I'm an engineer. My specialty is integrating technology of different races into the Federation. So,
Right, that's how you
which
killed the
which means
Ioshians servers.
something like that. So yeah, that.
It's not how he saw it, but yeah.
uh,
I didn't say killed the
That's how you conducted
Iosians.
mass
I said,
murder. That's not how
I
I
said killed
saw
their
it. But...
servers.
Yeah. So I'm an engineer who works as part of the diplomatic arm of this ship's mission.
Okay.
But at any rate, I imagine that every engineer is going to be involved in researching what we find out here. So I better go get ready for that as well.
Yep.
So I head out to the bridge and assume a workstation that isn't claimed. And
Yeah. Okay. Speech.
Matt
speech,
is
speech.
Matt is working hard. You can hear the neurons firing. He's like, crap.
the
this is
gears
my
are
episode.
grinding.
He didn't know when he showed
would
up
like-
today. It's gonna be his episode, didn't he?
No, I didn't. And I would like it known that Crystal joined the Federation as a translator, as a microphone, and not as the one who speaks. He is
Wow.
not. He joined the Federation not as a speaker.
All right, King's Speech. Let's move it. Come on.
Speech.
Oh, lordy, Lou.
All right, so I'll head out onto the bridge.
Captain on the bridge.
And take the chair. And then I'll look over at communications and say, open a
Shipwide channel.
ship-wide channel. Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
That's your field, buddy. You gotta know.
I couldn't think of the word.
What did he see?
God.
But
Hit that button. He's just pointing at the button. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the button's named. I just hit that button.
Yeah.
all right,
And
but
people hear me. That's how it works.
Yeah. Push the green button.
crew of the Lexington. We are on our way to the rendezvous with a Cochrane ship that has found the ship that had our senior staff, that kidnapped our senior staff. Now that ship was heavily damaged, so we are going to investigate what the status of what our senior staff may be and where, if they were not on that ship, to find out where they are. But we will find them no matter what state they may be in. And whatever state they are in, we bring them home back to our own galaxy. Thank you. That's where it cuts.
7 out of 10.
Better than a 0.
Yes.
I want to roll to see how the crew takes that.
We
Oh.
want to
Let
see
the
those
dice
dice,
decide.
baby.
Let the
Diplomacy
dice
check.
decide.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's
I
got to
mean,
be some
if
leadership.
Administration
It's
diplomacy.
got to be leadership. He's got to be leadership in there. That's a leadership move
that
right
was
there.
straight up a leadership roll. Let's do charisma and leadership, just to see how
Yeah,
well
there
that
you
came
go.
across.
Okay,
That's 70
now
and
where
43.
is my... Oh.
70
That's
and
not bad.
43.
You got
I'm
this.
I'm 3 steps ahead of you, man. 70 and 43.
Let's see this roll. Imagine if you got the 100 then. Oh, that would have been rough.
And Tim. Oh, there's back.
Wait for Tim to come back. If he comes back.
If he comes back.
Yeah, imagine if you got the 100 on that one. That would have been awful. That would have been like, yeah, everyone would be like, boo.
Success!
Okay. Okay.
By
They
3.5.
By 3.
They bought it just barely.
All right.
A
Some
win's
of
a
them.
win.
All right. So, most of all, some of them are kind of like, okay. But so far, none of them are like ready to storm the bridge. So
Okay, that's good.
that's
Where'd they get all those torches and pitchforks all of a sudden?
he succeeded.
And Tim comes back.
He succeeded
Awesome.
by 3 points. So a lot of the crew are like, "What?" But none of them are ready to storm the bridge. So I'll call that a win.
Awesome. I told the I set my computer to load Roll20, and it knocked me offline. The strain of trying to open Roll20.
Well, don't do that. Just don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just glad you didn't roll anything. Holy cow.
Right? I'm gonna roll something like
I think you got blue
because
screen all of a sudden. Like, bzz.
I am having the worst time right now with this computer. I am so upset.
Just start making
My-
rolls now, so we'll have them by next week.
My dock that I use to like plug various things in. So I have 4 monitors here, and my dock is only the monitors that are plugged in through the dock aren't reading at all.
Joyous.
And I've been fighting with this thing all day about other things. And just
Well, Tim failed his engineering role earlier, his computer technology. Sad. All right, so that call happened. Anything else you want to do at the moment? Because next stop is the station for the wormhole facility.
I'm gonna inform Calvo that I am available at his discretion if he needs any additional engineers for this investigation.
He will definitely have been informed in person, I'm sure, about this whole situation.
Yeah.
Such that, hey, we need to comb through this wreckage. So.
Yeah.
All right. So a day later, we are going to arrive at the wormhole facility, which means we have now been in this galaxy. If I can find the right freaking word doc. There's the word doc. Let's see. It is now November 27th, so it has been 9 days.
Been a crazy 9 days.
Has been
Yeah.
9 days. Some of those days took like months.
Felt like it.
All right. So our goal here is, of course, to meet with, to get the vice director to pick her up before we apparently head to Gehenna, if that's the plan. Now, while we're there, we are going to be met by the ship that has the wreckage. So, I have those, which ship that is. Oh man, everything's just so disorganized right now. That's what happens when you have to uproot your entire life. Let's see. This was.
They wrote all the wreckage here.
It's on the ship, yeah. I mean, it was a scout ship, but there wasn't that much wreckage left, so they were able to fit it all in the ship and bring
We're
it.
gonna have a heck of a time searching for like warp signatures or anything in the vicinity if we're not in the vicinity.
Well, that was what was agreed on last session, so I'm just going by what was said.
Whatever. Wasn't my decision.
This is true. All right. So you're going to be meeting with the CDF Bridges. So it's larger than the Cochrane. I'd say it's about halfway between the size of the Cochrane, which is an old NX ship, and us. So it's looks like the Cochranes have built some ships a little on the larger side.
CDF.
Cochrane Defense Force
Defense Force.
or Colonial Defense Force. It's kind of interchangeable. So, how do you want to proceed on this? Because you're going to get hailed by the captain of the British saying, Lexington, we have a package for you guys.
Thank you for meeting us. And because like, how would it? Because it was inside of their ship, right?
Yes, it is currently sitting in their shuttle bay.
And they are. How big is their ship?
Like I said, it's like about halfway between the size of the Cochrane and us. So let me put it this way: if the ship was intact, the scout ship, it would not fit in the shuttle bay. But the what wreckage was left does fit in the shuttle bay.
I'm just trying to think of how we get it from their shuttle bay to ours.
It would definitely fit in ours. Though we may have to move a few shuttles to the side.
Well, I would assume that we would have one of the shuttle bays. We would have prepped for it.
That is totally fine. If you ordered that, that could have happened.
Yeah. But could, because they have a sort of like a tractor beam, right?
Yes, and so do we.
Okay. So they could use theirs to bring it out of their shuttle bay, and we could use ours to bring it into
Yeah,
ours.
bringing it in wouldn't be a very difficult proposition. You just got to do it a bit at a time. Honestly, the biggest piece left is about twice the size of a shuttle. But
Okay.
it's mostly disconnected bits.
Okay.
So if you're logisting over, it's not going to be a difficult proposition to get into our
Yeah.
shuttle bay. That's pretty
Um,
straightforward. Just give the order.
Yeah, and I would do that, and I would also ask their captain if they could send me where the scout ship was discovered.
I can do that. If you will turn to roll 20, I will actually show you the star chart. Let me switch over here so all the lovely folks at home can see. All right. Let's see. Da-da-da. Right. Everyone's looking. All right. So, all right. Just to get reference, remember where we came from. Terra 2 and Tevar are way off to the left side of the map. Presently, and I really should add this, we are sitting about right here. If you see the little circle pinging,
Yep.
it was
Yes.
discovered here.
Where?
I'm pinging.
South.
Okay.
Okay, so you have that information. All right. Someone say something.
Sorry.
I thought it was the captain.
So
Yeah,
I,
I don't know if I'm even in this conversation.
I figured once we'd gotten the coordinates that we kind of said the niceties and went our separate ways.
okay, well, you've got all the
There's-
wreckage. That's totally fine.
Yeah, because it's
Okay.
not really a social visit.
No, no, it really
Very, it's very solemn on the bridge currently.
not. I would imagine so.
Yeah, it's a quiet tension.
Right. Well, I guess it's time to CSI this shit.
Yes.
All right.
So wait, so all of it's in cargo bay right now, or
It is all in
where
the
is it?
shuttle bay. Yep. And so what you're gonna see is it's
I would assume
barely what,
the captain would go. So the captain's going down to the shuttle bay to inspect it. Is that what we're doing?
if you'd like. I
Yes.
can describe what's there. So
Nakamura will tag along too. This is kind of important for the remaining senior staff.
so
take a look.
what's down there is, if you didn't know that it was that ship, you could barely tell. It's just wreckage strewn everywhere.
So
There
does it look
are
Federation or no?
no. It is the ship that took the senior staff, but it's just so mangled that it's barely recognizable. But
Is there
based on the
wait?
whole
Is there
signature, Hmm?
is there shuttle bits? Did they take the shuttlecraft too?
yes, there actually are some shuttle bits as well. Stuff that you can recognize, like you can say their ship's built out of this material, then you can scan and see, oh, well, that's duranium. That's our alloys. So there you got some shuttle pieces. There also are some charred corpses of various states. All the ones that you see so far look like Farans. I can't remember which one it is. But there are some that are very, very disintegrated, very, very charred, that you actually, the Cochrans were unable to identify what they were just based on how absolutely charred they were, but they aren't you. So
Do they all come in body bags, or is this like just
they
100% as it is?
they did
Like,
bag up the what could identify as human remains or alien remains or biological remains. Let's put it that way.
what was the senior races of the various senior crew? If you could refresh us on that. There was
Vulcan,
humans.
human.
They were all humans except there was one Bolian and one Andoran.
No Vulcans? I thought
There was
was a
no
Vulcan in
Vulcan.
there.
He had permanent brain damage, which was replaced by a human, who I never actually fleshed out. Yeah, he got kind of messed up on the Iosian trip.
Oh, so he got transferred. Got it.
Yes.
So I would say I would try to scan with a tricorder and see if any of those showed up as Bolian or what was the other race? Andorian?
Andorian, yeah. Alright. Now, if Fish was here, he'd be perfect to do this because
He
have
would
some-
be, but he's not. So
He's not.
Well,
but
I would.
I'm invested in this. So even if I fail this scan, it doesn't really cause anything bad.
right.
I punch it to the actual professionals. So,
All right. So, what you're gonna be doing is intelligence, small equipment systems operation.
oh boy. Okay.
Oh.
Let me get the
And
calculator out. He's like, I knew there was gonna be like a threefer.
and the problem is, you don't have in first aid or medicine a specialty in any of those races.
Well,
Wait.
why don't we
Everyone has first aid.
Well, but
Well,
not
everyone-
in. But general medicine, there's specialty races, and
Can we just like?
I thought general
Can-
medicine was actually first aid was actual general medicine. Like it's not race specific. You get
It's
because that's not like when
General.
you get into like family practice medicine or something like that, then it's more specific. But like that's first aid, just identifying what
Yeah,
race they
first
are.
aid. First aid is a subtype of general medicine. It doesn't itself have subtypes.
well, I'm looking at Coinless's sheet. There's first aid, then there's listed specialty race human, then there's listed Vulcan, Andorian, Klingon. So they can't
Right,
be
right. So,
special-
Yeah,
like-
but those are subtypes of general medicine.
Right.
Not
Right,
something
like he can
separate.
actually treat them. I can just identify, like, yep, that's a Bolian. Like that's kind of what I'm going for.
Well, this one is tricky.
Well, can't we?
Go ahead, what you got, Tim?
Why don't we just collect some genetic material and take it to the med lab and let them, the people who actually know what they're doing, sort it out?
Oh, all of the bodies are going straight to the med bay.
Oh yeah. So we don't even do that. Like let the people who know how to do that do that.
Tim's role blocking me. I thought you had to roll for something.
I'm just saying. Like you can do it if you want.
So
but,
Reps
like,
completely take the tricorder out of my hand and be like, get that out of your hand.
What do you mean?
doing with that?
I'm
You're
just
untrained
saying, like,
professional.
you can do it if you want, but
That was
you
plan
better
B.
not
If I didn't win
damage
the
any
roll,
bodies.
I'm skating with the tricorder. God damn it.
Oh, that was the laser cutter mode. Crap.
Fortunately, it does not have that. So what is it?
Scalpel.
70 plus 10 plus 0 divided by 3.
Yes.
26.
Sure, let's go with 26.
Nope.
Nope.
And then he's like,
Yes.
he looks at this, he looks at the tricorder, goes, yeah. So send these off to medbay for analysis.
Yeah. Said so.
But he says it confidently of like, yeah, that's the plan.
I can confidently say it's burnt. So
I confidently say that we're gonna need professionals in the room to figure this out.
yes. Okay. You know what we're gonna do is that's actually gonna take a while. So you know how long it's gonna take? A real world week until Coinless comes back. Wow. Because
And in the meantime,
Or I could just roll for him.
Yeah, we could just roll 4 questions.
I mean, yeah, if you want to make him feel all sad, but
No,
let's.
I'm gonna roll for him, so then I can hold it over his head for a whole week for not showing it up.
Okay.
This is a brother. This is a brother thing. You gotta.
This is a
let him
brother
have
thing.
this.
I cannot get in the way. I recognize I have no authority to stop this. This is a familial issue. Okay. Right. So, what exactly you're wanting to do? Again. Refresh. me exactly.
Identify the non-human races amongst the charred remains or the dismembered remains, and to see if they match on file with the senior staff. We're trying to do forensics. That's essentially what we're doing. Forensics on.
We're CSIing.
But we're gonna start with the aliens because the chances of a Bolian being out here and an Endorian are next to nil, and that's the thought process. Is that humans? There could be Terra 2 humans in this mix that they just blew up prisoners and made it look like it, while Bolians and Andorians didn't come with the colony ship. So there are, if they probably couldn't replicate those, so they're probably ours. So
let's see here. Okay. All right. So this is going to be intelligence. So you're not using a tricorder. So this isn't small equipment systems operations.
large equipment.
There is no such. There is no such. Well, this is straight up. You're not even using. You're just straight up doing an autopsy at this point. So this is just going to be intelligence and specialty. He doesn't have specialty in Bolian, but he does in Andorian. So that's 70 and 10. So that's going to be a 45.
So I think there should be 2 separate roles. I would think one for the Bolian and one for the Andorian. Since he's got Andorian, the chances are better that he's going to pick up on the Andorian.
Correct. So 45.
So what are we rolling?
For the Andorian, you're rolling a 45.
Oh boy. He's not a good doctor if the 45's the better of the 2 rolls. Come on, man.
He doesn't even have Bolian.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like if 45's the better of the 2 rolls, he's
what
type
better
of doctor
with
is he?
humans.
He's better with bombs. That's what he is.
Yeah.
All right. Oof.
Nope.
Oh hey.
Wait. Did you double roll?
I hit it twice, but I meant one for the Andorian, one for the Bolian.
All right. Well, for the first one, the Andorian,
Yeah, I didn't get either one of them.
Inconclusive. The second one, 42. uh, well, that one, considering he doesn't have specialty Boolean, that would have been
It would have been less.
Yeah, it would have been intelligence divided by 2 minus 15, so that would have been a 25. So no. Both
So they're
cases.
burnt on recognition.
So inconclusive on those.
You can't you just compare genetic information with the people on file. I'm not entirely
Can
sure.
we look at their dental
what it is
records?
that we're checking.
Dental records.
All right. So what you're having to do is there's some corpses that are so there's a bunch that it's obvious that they're foreigners. There's not any real doubt there. These are the ones that are just so mangled that you're even trying to identify what the DNA in the first place is, and that results coming back as inconclusive. So you can't even tell DNA strands, whatever. At least from I mean, he could have had he succeeded, but he couldn't. So you can't tell what it was. Boolean, Andorian, foreign, human.
Any other ideas of how we could do this?
Well, you haven't
would think
rolled for
that-
human.
Well, we can roll
Yeah.
for human and I would think that there's two ways to do human. There's dental records and then there's genetic.
Well, with coinless, he's got a 70 in human. So if you rolled for that, you get a 75% chance of succeeding.
Yeah.
All right, let's do
Go
it.
for human. His specialty.
Oh, now I get the 23.
Oh, hey.
One of the corpses is human.
Just
And with
one?
that roll, you are able to determine that it is.
Just one?
Well, there's a lot of the corpses were probably just disintegrated outright in the warp explosion, but the corpse that you can recognize is Commander Roscoe Ferguson, the Chief Security Officer.
Not Roscoe.
However, that's the only corpse that you can tell is human. The others you're certain are not.
I would imagine that Hero's getting this data pad from medical and he's hand delivering it to the captain and he's showing captain on the data pad the LCARS is clearly showing that that's a match for Roscoe,
Do
the
we
chief
have
engineer.
Elcars yet?
Yeah, they do. They're just not as cool. They're not as cool
It's not
looking.
the same configuration. Yeah, sure, something like that.
They look very monochrome 1970s computer style.
It looks like the ending credits
No, well, no. Does it? Okay.
for
Because I was
this
gonna
show.
say,
Yes.
I didn't think that
TOS
was Elcars.
TLS LCARs look more
It's-
rudimentary than those.
No, this isn't
So
TOS.
but you can split the difference because we're
Yeah.
somewhere between TOS and next gen. So I would imagine they could look closer to next gen.
Think how they looked in
We're really
Star
close
Trek
to the
6.
last old. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're really close to the last old.
This
original
is
series
7
movie.
years after the Undiscovered Country, so basically that.
And
Okay.
80
So
years.
yeah, they
before
had
the
'em.
Next
They had
Generation,
'em.
So.
We're 63 years before the Next Generation.
So we're
had
definitely
'em.
closer to
Yeah.
to one than the other.
Okay, so yes, you have that. You've handed that to Crystal.
Well, I think they had data pads in that TOS, didn't they?
Well, they
just
did. They did.
they were
Tribble,
just huge.
Tribble.
Oh, okay.
We were.
The data pad episode.
All right, so after looking at it and sighing, is the computer core intact? Or was it
Absolutely
completely
not.
obliterated?
That's gone. Basically, the only pieces that are left are the areas farthest from the center of the ship. And the data core is going to be closer to engineering.
Dang it.
So
What
you've
other
got
recognizable stuff is there in this shuttle bay worth of
you can see there's
bits and bobs,
half of the bridge is still there. That's actually the largest piece.
but no data cores attached to that?
No, I mean it's like the monitor on your computer, or like if you take the keyboard off your computer, the keyboard on its own doesn't have any data. So that's just displays and stuff on the bridge. It's not where the actual information is stored.
But that's of the alien ship, right? That's not of our shuttle, or is it?
Actually, the computer on the shuttle is intact enough.
Well, it sounds like we need engineers to start
Yeah.
pulling apart
So
that thing.
we'll have the engineers analyze the computer from the shuttle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All
Wish
right.
we had an engineer here that could do that.
Well, why don't we just have someone roll for Chris, who has shuttlecraft systems technology? So that's actually an even 50. So, Matt, why don't you roll for Chris?
Let's see here. Nope.
No, he's not able to get anything off of it.
What's the roll?
50-50.
Intelligence and shuttlecraft system technology. You have a 20 in that.
Yeah.
So 63 and 20, 83 divided by 2. So you're rolling against a 42? Yeah.
Yep. I can try.
You can always try. That's true. Just don't 100 it.
Nope.
Don't
also
say
unsuccessful.
that before the die rolls.
Well, you didn't 100 it.
You didn't 100 it.
That's true.
But you came
slightly
close.
better than him.
You're in arm's reach there, buddy, of 100.
Yeah. So your current attempts to get into the data core have been unsuccessful. Anything else you want to investigate?
All right. So we're looking at the wreckage.
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to know if there's a way that if we feel this has been staged or not.
Well, I mean, you can. So, how are you going to attempt that?
Well,
Streetwise.
Well, I mean,
look
I
for
guess
arson.
I was thinking my this would be definitely a Calvo piece, but like the destruction is consistent with a warp core breach.
Mm-hmm.
Is it truly? That's what we've been told. Is it
Okay,
truly
so
a warp core breach, or was it someone blew up something, or something
I think that
else?
would be warp drive technology.
That sounds like it would be warp drive technology.
Right. We're trying to.
If
Okay.
only someone had warp drive technology.
Guess
I do.
Guess who does? Yeah, we're actually.
I do.
You've got 2 in it.
I got 2.
Tim has a 55.
I mean,
I
and
do have a
60
55.
So 55
I've
plus
seen a warp
63.
core once. That's what I'm going with.
Warp core.
better
Hey,
than
look.
me.
That's
All
a
right.
warp core.
Let's let Tim roll his. Matt, you can roll for Calvo.
I'm rolling against a 59.
All right.
What is he rolling against?
Well, let's see if you succeed first. No. All right.
So what am I rolling against?
82 plus
I miss real dice.
50. So 132 divided by 2 should be 66.
At least with real dice, even if.
Wow, our rolls are garbage tonight, folks.
All right.
Garbage.
So
I'm just gonna throw a couple random rolls out just to kind of clear the system cache on that.
all right. So there was a warp core breach, but you can't
There you go.
determine what caused it.
Okay.
Oof, it's still keep cleansing those dice.
Yes.
98.
That's totally
We've had
how
a
that works.
100. We've had a 98. Most of our,
Yeah.
I think, like half our rolls tonight have been 90 to 100. I was like, that's crazy.
All
Alright.
right, there. I'm done.
So you look
It's open.
specifically at the warp core for now, or what? Well, there wasn't warp core left, but just on that aspect of it. Anything else you want to look at?
Well, what I wanted to look.
Did Tim freeze, or is he?
So all of the damage.
I was just looking.
All
more.
of the damage is clearly from coming from like the metal is bent in such a way and stuff that it came from a central point, right?
I mean, at first
Yes.
glance, yes, but you can definitely investigate that.
All right. What would that check be?
That would probably be astronautics.
Hey, I know astronautics.
Yes, two of you
And
have
and
astronautics.
intelligence.
Astronautics and intelligence. And Eric, I believe, can. Actually, no, sorry. Calvo can roll the same thing.
All right, rolling it's a 65.
Right? 7. All right.
All right.
This ship was definitely
Finally.
shot at. There is
Hey!
evidence of weapons fire. And with a 7, you're able to tell that the signature is Ardestian.
Good job cleaning those dice, by the way.
Very
you.
nicely done. Very successful.
You cleaned it, but you did not over clean it. So, good job.
So the signature that you find on the hull, at least the one blast you're able to find from what's left, matches the same configuration as what happened with the Ardestian ship that we encountered like 9 days ago.
Okay.
Same type of weapon. Same
Okay.
energy signature.
All right, I'm definitely going to include that in my report. Tell Calvo this is what's there.
Has the intelligence of the Cochrans, have they found a way to recreate the weapon signature of any of the 3 races?
That's not
Aliens?
anything you have. Nothing indicates that they have that ability.
Okay. Now, what rooms are intact from the scout ship?
The only thing
Is it
that's
just the
really
bridge?
like half the bridge and basically the outer edges of the nacelles, because that's like the parts farthest from the warp core. Like the largest intact piece is like the front half of the bridge, but even that is severely crumpled.
Okay. Is there any writing or literature or anything on what's left of the bridge?
I mean, there's markings on the consoles, but they're not lit up, obviously.
And do the Ardestian ships have cloaking ability?
No, it's this ship that has cloaking.
Okay, so we want to retouch Starbase Elizabeth like immediately and ask for any traffic that they've been able to detect for Ardestian ships.
All
Basically,
right.
in the last week.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna call Starbase Elizabeth, you said then, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's what that's what I'm pitching to the captain.
Okay.
And I would delegate that to a communications officer.
Nice. That's exactly what we're going on.
Just to have them call to get the information or get them to send us the information.
All right. So let's role play this. So gonna call the Starbase. Starbase gonna say, "I'm sorry, I don't recognize this comm signature. Who am I speaking to?" This is Lieutenant Jones on the USS Lexington. USS Lexington. I'm sorry. How did you get this information? This comm channel? We were provided it by by Captain Blevins. I have information request for you. I'm sorry. Can I speak to someone who has some actual authority? Because I don't know what's going on right now. See, you try to foist the conversation off on me. It's not going to work.
But they didn't need to be. That could have happened off screen. Like,
Yeah.
Well, this
like
absolutely.
we asked this guy to ask for information, and then later on we get a data pad with information.
Well, I can tell you, if some random lower officer just calls the starbase who has no idea who they are, they are gonna want. They are gonna have questions. So.
And then I'll when they tell me that they're what's going on, I'll have them transfer it to me in a secluded room.
Okay.
The ready room.
Yes, probably that.
All right.
You
So
have
the
a room for this purpose.
It's the Ready Room episode.
all right. So talking to the person at
Apparently.
the starbase. Yes, this is Commander Franks on Starbase Elizabeth. I'm sorry, I talked to your lower officer earlier, but can you please enlighten me exactly what's going on right now? Because I have no idea who you are, but you're requesting probably classified information.
I am Captain Crystal, and we're requesting that information to find the ship that destroyed the ship that kidnapped our senior staff.
So what exactly are you asking for?
We need the specifically we just want to know of the any Ardestian ships in that
They don't know
area.
that word.
Who the hell are the
The Reds.
Ardestians?
The
Reds.
Reds.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Hang on, I gotta call this one in because this is. Let me tell you, this is the most interesting that's happened to me this week. Give me a moment.
Sure
Go
thing.
away. You're gonna get Muzak just kind of waiting and stuff like. All right, yeah, I
Look,
verified. I verified with Captain Blevins that you are who you say you are. So, all right. Looked at logs. So about 2 days ago, in the direction that you're asking about, we detected a what seemed to be a warp core breach. But our sensors at that range are not that great. But as far as any signatures of ships, yeah, those little scouts have a real good tendency to slip right through. They tend to know right at the seams of where our sensor ranges are, and that's right where this explosion happened. Uh, so whether or not any of our Reds came through, I am not 100% sure. Although let me try something. All right, so the guy's going to try something, which means there's going to be a die roll. Let's see if he's successful. Nope,
nope.
not even slightly successful. No, I really can't help you. Yeah. You might try calling Starbase Felix. They're on the other edge. I can let them know you're calling and see if they've had any luck.
Please.
All right. Actually, you know what? Hey, that's like an old switchboard operator. I can transfer you. Please hold.
Oh wow.
It's gonna take a few minutes. Then you're
What kind
gonna.
of music plays?
This is a Muzak version of the theme to Indiana Jones. Da, 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 da. Copyright strike. I'm going to stop here. Uh, so in a moment, a lady will pop up, black lady will pop up and say, "Hello, Lexington. Commander. This is Commander Brinks with Starbase Felix. So you're requesting information on any sensor logs from this sector right here, correct?"
That's correct.
All right. Just like my counterpart at Elizabeth, we detected a warp core breach in that area. But let me look real close on the data. Um, we got a signature that very well could be a red scout ship. But at this range, it's hard to be 100% sure. But it seems likely.
Hmm. And I'm guessing you don't see a whole lot of warp core breaches in your sector very often, do you?
Not since the last time there was a battle near here. I mean, the last time Blevins that whole experience happened, man. We had a heavy push this way that we barely drove back. There were a lot of warp core breaches that week. Not not it was. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Understandable.
There was a recall.
No, it was a lot of ships getting blown up by each other, man. That's called warfare.
And that is why I took the call alone.
Yes. You don't need the snarky snark. Yes.
Yeah. But with that, I'll say thank you for the information and end the call.
You are welcome.
Well, that was virtually useless.
You did learn when the explosion happened, and there's what might be a Ardestian warp core or warp trail. That's all you gain from it.
Wait a minute.
The explosion was 2 days ago.
And how far from Tevar was that?
Let's see. As
Well,
far as
it
they
was
were
like-
able to get in that time frame, it's only
I
measured.
said it was like right around here. I said it was right around here somewhere, right?
Yeah, let me zoom in a second, map this out. Hang on, let me pull some math up to show exactly. That was an estimate, but I can tell you exactly where if I actually math out their speed. All right.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out, how
yeah.
fast they were going.
Yeah, that's
Because for to only get that far, that seems like they were going kind of slow.
It's kind of far.
let's see.
Yeah, but
I guess we don't know how
for
far though. 'cause
7
it's
days
not-
in a whole week, that's as far as they got.
All right, so yeah, in 7 days. Let's see.
That's
In
my
7
microphone.
days, they would have made it to. All right, so that is. They made it 20 light years in 7 days. Now you can do some
we don't
math.
have any idea.
That so.
They only went about 3 light years a day, less than.
Well, if you're doing let's go tech data. Warp 8 is 2 light years a day. Warp 9 is 4 light years a day.
So they were going warp 8.5.
Looks like it.
Interesting. That's my
What?
headphone cord, little man. That's my microphone.
Please hold technical difficulties. So yeah, so they appear to be.
How fast does our
averaging-
ship go?
We can top out at 9.2. Our cruising speed is warp 8.
Wait, if our cruising speed is warp 8, were they topping out?
Well, you don't know whether 8.5 is their top speed, but that's how fast they were going.
Yeah, but because the
I mean, they were also trying to get out of hostile space.
yeah, so
With
hostages.
hostages, so it seems likely that they weren't going their cruising speed.
Because the Farans. They're known for being the fast ones, right?
Correct.
So we have a
But-
real chance of catching up to the Ardestian ship. I mean, they've got a 20 light year plus 2 day head start on us, but no, yeah, something like that. But I think we can say
Well, remember, where we are is not where that happened.
no. Yeah, I know. Well, that's why I said 20 light year head start because we're over here or something, right?
Hang
well,
on, I'm
like
looking at it.
19 light year head start.
Yeah.
So like,
And there's a chance they would be going to
Yeah,
their
I'm
homeworld,
actually,
right?
I'm actually going to mark where
that'd
this
be
was.
great.
Can someone do a placeholder like right here for me, so I can paint right here? All right, yeah. So just keep pinging right there. Freehand.
Ah.
Okay. So there we go, and I'm going to label that.
And where are we right now?
Hang on a second. All right, so yeah. Foreign scout destroyed right here. So where we are is. So I'm gonna straight up say that some of these, just like real Star Trek, sometimes some of the distance gets kind of warped for the sake of things actually happening that don't take forever. So where we are, yeah, it's
We
definitely.
definitely weren't heading. Yellow ship was not heading to its home world.
All right, so where we are
Seems like it was heading
is.
toward Gehenna.
So where we are
Oh,
is
yeah.
about, let's say, right here. That's a.
All right, so it's only a 14 and a half light year head start plus 2 days.
All right, wormhole station.
The problem is we don't know if they were coming in to attack the Farns and then going back, I guess toward Gehenna, it looks like, or if they were on their way in. And so would we want to be either here or here? You know?
Well, that's what you got to plan out.
So now would be a good time to make that call to the Ardestians. See if we can get some of that information from them on their end, if possible.
Now, you are still waiting on the information from the Ministry of Intelligence, which, in-game explanation, it's taking a while to compile. Out-of-game explanation, I did not have time this week to write that up. I've been trying to move my entire life. So, hopefully by next week,
I
that
mean,
will be a thing.
that's
that exists.
understandable.
Yeah. Because that'd be a great time to have it show up, but so far not. So, blame my life. All right. All right. So you guys decide what's happening now.
All right. Well, I can try that if you like.
I mean, unless the information from the Secretary of Intelligence was more was necessary in order to start that conversation.
I don't know that it was. I mean, it really depends on how they interpret that. What we could do is start heading to where the ship was destroyed and start looking for warp signatures and see if there's any trail that we can identify to figure out what direction they went in.
Okay.
Their destinies went in after that, and I could try to sort this out on the way so that by the time we actually start trying to make communication, we're closer to being out over here than right next to all this stuff.
All right, Captain. What say thee?
He doesn't say it very loudly.
Is your mic on?
Did the baby eat her mic?
You there? You there, Matthew? We don't hear you.
That's because I
Yeah.
muted myself.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I said it sounds like a good plan.
All right. So you're heading to where the ship was destroyed, right? All right.
Yes.
Okay, so let's decide what speed you want to go. If you go warp 8, it'll take 7.5 days. Warp 9, it'll take just over. It'll take about 3 days and change. Now you can do warp 9 safely, but you top out at 9.2.
And we would be advertising to the Terrans that we actually can go warp 9. The longer we wait, the less chance there is that we're going to find any warp signature.
So let's go 8.8.
Oh God! Don't make me have to calculate that finally. God.
It's like 4 days.
Yeah.
Okay,
Change.
sure. Yes, we'll say approximately 4 days. So, if we're just gonna skip right to that, 4 days. It is now December 1st.
Well, partway there, I'm going to go and try to make communication with our Destian contact.
Okay. Also, the algae is now ready. The thing the algocli, that was
cool.
ready on the 28th.
Ding.
Yes, the oven timer finally went off.
The oven timer went off. The egg timer.
All right. Go ahead and write down it's December 1st. All right, so that means it has now been 13 days since I almost choked. No, 13 days since you got here.
So on day like 12 or 13, I'm going to go. Or it's like 13 days since by the time we get there? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess day like 11 or 12, I suppose.
Okay,
but like
so,
a day or so before we arrive.
So by now you would have absolutely gotten the data from the Ministry of Intelligence. So
Okay.
I'm going to have to write that out for next session. But I can give you the important parts off the top of my head right now.
All right.
All right. So first thing you're going to find is that there are significant redacted sections.
Okay. Is the stuff I need redacted?
Well, let's start with the Mars. That was actually about the only section that wasn't fully redacted, though there are still some pieces. Now you're going to see a visual log, actually basically the black box, and you're going to hear the talk on the bridge. You're going to see the captain, and yes, they tried hailing the ship multiple times. you're going to hear someone say, "Captain, I'm detecting an energy buildup," and the captain will say, "Lock weapons and fire." They already had the shields up. They were already, red alert when that ship showed up. But yes, and they
Now,
immediately start
do,
firing as soon as
do the
they.
sensor logs contain any information? Does the black box contain any information on those sensor logs?
Like what specifically on the sensors? I mean,
Like
yes.
what the energy signature was that that the person picked up?
Okay. Their sensors couldn't determine what kind of energy it was. They just noticed it was just a spike of energy. It was a type of energy they had not that was uncatalogued. It was new to them.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And the other reports, do they show? Do I have any of the other reports that show a clear attempt to communicate before hostilities broke out?
What you're going to see is for about the first year or two, sometimes, however, if you look at the history, let me pull that up real quick. It was very, very soon after they first encountered the Reds, or Destians, that they went ahead and just took Gehenna. So very, very soon, they stopped trying to communicate, and they just straight up started just attacking them.
Okay.
About the first 3 or 4, there were attempts, but I'm going to stop talking before I can pull the timeline up. Let's see. All right. So yeah, 20 to 30. Actually, 22, 29 was the first contact with the Ardestians near Gehenna. The very next year, by then the Cochrans have already taken Gehenna.
Okay. But what's important to me is that we have indisputable evidence that they tried to contact, that they responded to an energy spike that they thought was a weapons thing. I have that. I have that record on hand, and then a period of attempting communication before hostilities began, for a brief period after that, before they saw a clear sign that that was not going to be viable, and began to attack and began to behave defensively.
That is one way to interpret it, yes.
That is the way that I'm going to aim to interpret it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, the
All right.
redacted sections, basically what's redacted is, especially later on, what ship it was and exactly where it was, but it will show you the interaction itself. So,
Right. And I have dates, obviously.
yes. Yeah, the
Okay.
dates are some of the. Generally, the dates aren't redacted.
Right. So we can
But
compare that to if we really want to, we could figure out what those were, but that's
quite
secondary
possibly,
to
yeah.
my purposes.
But literally,
Yeah.
what you asked for is just logs of ships when they encountered Ardestians.
All right. Okay. I'm
And
gonna go.
I gotta write this whole thing out this next week. Yay.
All right. So I'm going to go to back to where the Ardestians are being held.
Yep.
I would like a security detachment.
You can have them. Although they're all gonna be really scared.
Yeah. Basically, what I'm going to tell them, and I mean, I don't know if anybody else is going to be there for that or not. Captain obviously is going to know I'm doing this
Yes.
before I do it. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have somebody stationed to wake the Ardestian up and be ready to knock them back out if needed.
Okay.
I am not. They're not to wake them up until I've entered my meditative stance.
That is totally fine.
Um, I want to create the same kind of mental landscape that I had before.
Okay, nope. Totally fine. All right, so you will be able to successfully do that. And at your
Okay.
command, they will start slowly bringing the guy back to semi-consciousness, or to what he was before.
All right. Cool.
All right, if I remember correctly, there was a roll involved to determine how well you're able to interface. Pull that up. Let's see. I know it was just. I think it was a straight psi roll to connect, and if you failed, it was psi plus endurance to see whether you took any damage. Does that sound right?
Maybe I don't remember.
Okay.
The only skill I have written down that I rolled was negotiation, but that was at some point during the actual conversation.
Correct. All right, let's just roll straight psi to see how well you can redo the
All right.
connection.
That's a 62.
15. All right, you are in. No issues.
All right.
All right, so you've got the little box there that's going to be able to speak for the thing. Slowly, it's going to say, "You again. Why
Yeah,
must you torment me like this?"
I would have been fine with you staying awake the whole time if it was safe.
Can I help you with something? Well, actually, no. You can't directly talk to the guy.
No, yeah. I did some things very similar to directly talking to the guy last time, but it took a little while to get to the point where we could do that.
Yes.
So I'm going to.
We're
I'm
playing
going to
mental charades with Tim.
Yeah. I'm going to in kind of this dreamscape, I guess. I'm going to set down something that looks like basically the black box and some files and some file folders, and I'm going to recall the conversation we had last time, in which the part of it where I agreed to get the data on Cochrane Terran attempts to Terran encounters with the Ardestian ships in exchange for, and this Ardestian agreed that he would then reach out and get information on that actual encounter with the Mars.
Okay.
So this is a standing agreement. I am here with my half of that agreement. I'm also going to so yeah, I trying to figure out how to tell it that I didn't tell the Terrans that he was here. Okay. I'm going to envision a scenario that in which the Ardestians in their tanks are here behind a closed door, and on the other side of that door, I approach the Terrans, request files, receive files. They leave, and then I go through the door.
Okay, that'll make enough sense to him.
All right.
Well, at least you kept your end of that bargain.
I'm going to kind of indicate to the things as in like, basically inviting it to pick something to see.
Well, we discussed first what evidence there was about your people, whether or not they did shoot first, or if they did, why they did.
Not strictly speaking, my people. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up and recall like the clip that I watched from the black box.
I'm just gonna watch that. Gonna be a pause. Interesting. And of course, what assurances do I have that this isn't a fabrication?
Um,
How can you be sure it's not a fabrication?
um, I'm going to envision Terra, the planet Terra 2, and kind of the Ardestians. I don't have an idea what their planet looks like, or anything, but like just kind of this sea of Ardestians, I guess. And I guess to make it realistic, I'll do a sea of humans. So I've got these humans over here. I've got these Ardestians over here. I'm going to place our ship squarely in the middle. Um, so I'm kind of in the middle, kind of pleading with both sides. Essentially, I have as much reason to trust them as I have to trust you. Um, I just have to trust that the stuff I'm getting from both of you is real.
So you're asking me to trust the Cochrans, that they didn't feed you false information.
Um, I'm going to again show that division. So there's the Terrans over here, me, and then the Ardestians. There's going to be a clear division that blocks vision of them from the Ardestians, and me requesting of like kind of this back and forth that I'm establishing with the Terrans. Essentially, I'm trying to portray that I have been building a rapport with them, and they don't know that this information is because I'm working on something with Ardestia. Um, I'm not asking. I'm not asking this guy to trust the Cochrans. I'm asking him to trust the process that I am trying to take us through together.
Alright, this is feeling like a roll. This is feeling
Okay.
like a charisma and negotiation diplomacy roll.
Okay. Which is, let's see here, charisma, negotiation, diplomacy. So that's 76.
Okay.
I can hear the die roll show up on your screen well before I see it on mine.
There's the beep, and there's a good like 2 or 3 seconds for me too.
Okay.
But okay, 55. All right, so successful. Another pause. Say, for the sake of this discussion, I will have to assume that this is accurate. So what now?
I'm going to show it. Um, Now I will have had to have talked to Crystal because in order to actually carry out this conversation, the Ardestian probably can't be in its tank in order to use our comms to communicate with another ship. Is that fairly accurate?
You theoretically could give access, like build a console for it in the tank, but that would be a roll to do.
What I will have pitched to Crystal is that we allow this one Ardestian, if it agrees to our terms, to leave its tank, go to a place probably under guard, where we can kind of monitor and give it the opportunity to talk to its people there. Um,
Yeah.
I am going to. Anyway, so yeah. So first of all, did I get clearance to offer that? Okay.
Yes.
So we probably have a space reserved already for that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to. I'm going to
Sorry.
show the Ardestian two things. First, I'm going to show it leaving the tank with guards, go to another place, and actually have a space to communicate and reach out for this information, and then share what it gets with me.
Okay.
But I also want to show it for context, kind of. I want to show it that while this is happening, there I want to kind of zoom away to the shuttle bay where there's the destroyed foreign ship. I want to kind of envision piecing that back together, having it outside of the ship, and having an Ardestian vessel destroy it. I want him to know, hey, this is a context, by the way. There is a ship of yours somewhere nearby that destroyed the ship that we were investigating right now.
All right. He'll say,
So it has a sense of context.
huh. So one of our ships destroyed a foreign ship. It seems interesting. All right. Well, appears you held up your end, so I am. We are a race of honor, as I have indicated. So I suppose I will do the same. So what exactly is it you would want me to communicate with my people?
Um, I'm basically going to, in the dreamscape, kind of give him the things that I have here,
Mm-hmm.
these records, and I'm going to kind of show it what this timeline of for a brief period they were trying to communicate with you and were not that was not successful. It was always leading to hostilities, and so they've given up on that, or they stopped doing that when it became clear that there was no communication to be had. But now there is communication, obviously, because we are communicating. So there's a possibility for communication. So, and I didn't give the Cochrans the tech to communicate with them yet. So they can't detect that we're sending these messages.
Right.
Or they can't read the messages anyway. Anyway, so basically what I want it to do is take that information to its people and request the logs from that colony ship as whatever information we can get, especially if we can get information aligning with these, the encounter with the Mars and the colony ship and these like few weeks or whatever of attempt of on the timeline, these events that happened in that time, these encounters.
Okay.
We want to compare records on these encounters.
All right. Okay.
And obviously inform the Ardestians. We actually do have this evidence that the humans did not have hostile intentions, but have become hostile because of the way that the encounters have gone. For whatever that's worth.
All right. He's going to say, all right then. But I hope you know I also have other things to communicate, such as the fact that I'm alive. I also plan to tell them the fate of my ship and my fellow crew.
Um,
Because I'm sure that if I'm
I
contacting them, they're going to ask questions.
of course. I'm basically going to I'm going to display that yeah, of course, yeah. I'm going to essentially just kind of step aside and be like, well, go ahead, and do that.
Okay. All right. So, do you want to do rolls to build a console in there, or are you going to let the cat out of the bottle?
Well, what I offered was to let him out,
Okay. Then
and
we
that
are
was
going
what
to
I
let him
thought I
out.
had permission to offer.
All right.
So there's a space already designated. Obviously, when I showed it to him, it was him being escorted, so he's already aware that that's going to be part of this arrangement,
Okay. Nope. All right.
and I'm sure he understands.
Yeah. That is.
You don't just let you don't just let somebody that's still kind of an enemy roam your ship.
This is true. You're also lagging, Tim. So if my responses are late, it's because I'm hearing you late.
And
Yeah,
making
it's
sure
just
there's no one
I just
in between the two point A and point B.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, cool.
All right. So, gonna drain the tank. Gonna open it, and there's gonna be like all the security guys are just like there, just pointing weapons. And you're gonna hear the speaker say, "Now I understand your trepidation, but for the sake of trust, can we call off at least some of these fine individuals?"
And the answer is
Um,
no.
how many are there? How many came
30.
with me?
All of them.
Oh,
Like all of them.
okay, okay.
And they all
One
look
person
Uh,
really,
leaves.
and a lot of them look really, even the Vulcans look slightly pissed.
yeah. Uh, um, I'm going to tell them. Okay. I'm going to turn to them and say, we have an arrangement. We've made a deal under with permission. Um, I need about half of you, or really, I need like I don't think I need more than 10 to just escort. So if so, if I could have 10 of you, escort to the chamber that we've set aside, and the rest of you kind of make sure this room is secure, and then go report to the captain how this went.
They're going to look at each other. Some are going to grumble a little bit. You're going to hear one say, "Damn it, I wanted to shoot the thing." And it's just gone.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. So you're going to escort. Going to escort our floating friend to the designated location, and sit in front of the sit. Just be in front of the console, and just start psionically communicating with it.
Okay.
Now, unless you set up a specific way, you have no idea what's being communicated, or at all. All you know is that it's just sitting there, and the console says something's
Yeah, I mean,
happening.
do we have any way to collect logs from this?
I mean, if you want to set it
Are
up
we?
to do so, yes.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think that would even be a breach of trust. I think you would be expecting that.
Yeah. But what you're going to see is these logs are going to
Um,
be flying through. Just like the amount of information that's coming is just massive. Um,
yeah. I mean, we can either have somebody trying to make sense of it now, because I mean it can go into the data core thing that we already have that's translating stuff to text.
Right.
Um,
I mean, if you want to be trying to keep up, you can, but it's like you're not going to be able to read nearly fast enough to
I'm
keep
not
up.
going to. I'm just whoever the captain is to keep track of that is going to be keeping track of that. I am like my job here is kind of like facilitating this relationship right now.
You know, a good person to might be to read it might be um, Nakamura, because he's been doing
Zach
nothing.
Thunder? No.
No, as Nakamura's been doing nothing for like an hour.
Well, I'm yes, I've been doing nothing for an hour, but I don't know how that like Nakamura would be the right character for the job. Like that's
It's reading. It's literally just reading and looking for things that like,
you're
oh,
looking for any signs of concern.
yes.
okay.
Just skim that baby. Just skim that.
All right. So, so you're going to start reading, and what you're going to see is first it's going to be identifying himself. Apparently, he's called someone in their command structure, and soon it's actually the person that his ship would directly report to. Gives you information that the ship was destroyed. Is going to be describing the way it's been treated, and all of he's been treated, like all the stuff that's happened to him. Uh, is going to then communicate what is asked communicate about as seen from the logs that you showed, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth as far as trying to convince this other Ardestian to send that information, and we're actually going to do a roll to see if he can convince his superior. Yeah, he is able to convince the superior to actually give the log just from that first encounter, though. And that's going to come through as it's nothing discernible by text. It's imagery. Basically, it's like a three-dimensional space. You're going to have to like pop into the head thing, or Tim's going to have to interface with it or something, because you can't. That's not on the sheet. It's just going to come out as a
Right.
whole bunch of just
Like,
nonsense.
I mean, is it possible for me to be like in kind of that dreamscape? Um, and I mean, obviously, all this is going too fast for me to try to keep up with. But when that thing comes in, can I kind of would I be in a position to be able to catch it and kind of like explore it?
Oh, if this is
Is
being
it possible
run
for that?
through the data core, you can interface with the data core.
Probably. Okay.
So you could actually be kind of looking at this as well as it's being talked about. So, would you like to do that, or what do you
All
want
right.
to do?
See, sure. I mean, I'm kind of hanging out with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine that there's some stuff there. Um, but yeah, if there's something there, I would definitely like to explore that thing, that
Okay.
log that they got.
All right, then let's just go right to that. So, what you're
Is that
going to
is that a psionic thing, or is that something that I can like get through the computer? Like, is this something the hero can also be looking at?
well,
Or
what
is
he's
this
looking
something
at,
that I have to connect with psionically?
yeah, we definitely are having lag right now. What he's looking at is purely a transcript of the conversation, so he's not going to be able to see this, because when that gets sent, it's like reading HTML. Is what's coming through. Just psionic HTML is just nonsense as far as text goes. But if you interface with the data core, you'd be able to go in and actually see it.
Um, yeah, if Nakamura tells me that that's there, I'm going to go and try to get that.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a solid 3 or 4 second delay, so communication's going to be a little laggy. But okay, so what you are going to, all right, so you're going to go in, and you are going to see you're not even looking from one person's particular position. It's kind of like just a three-dimensional dream space, and you're seeing everything happening. So there's the Ardestians on the bridge. All right. So the sequence of things is the Ardestian ship is the two ships meet. The Ardestian ship is going to detect some kind of energy signature. And based on the timestamps, you'll tell that's the Ardestian, or the Cocker's attempting to communicate with the Ardestian ship, but the Ardestians have no idea what this is. They are likewise attempting to send out communication, but it's psionic, so the Cocker never picked it up. The Ardestian ship is going to notice that the Cochrane ship has raised its shields and powered up its weapons, at which point it's going to send a distress beacon.
Wait, who's
And
sending the distress beacon?
the Ardestians.
Ah,
So it sends a distress beacon, and then immediately after, the Cochrane start shooting.
Okay. All right. So we can put those two logs together and see what each thing is picking up is a misunderstanding of what the other thing is actually doing.
Yes, based on the timestamps,
Kind of back
the
the
energy
other way.
signature picked up by the Cochranes appears to be the distress beacon sent by the Ardestian ship.
Okay.
wait, a distress beacon puts out that type of energy? That they would be nervous about it, or am I misunderstanding?
Well, it put
Well,
out energy.
What?
I mean, from the perspective of the Cochranes, it seems as though it was just an unknown energy type, and so they responded slightly out of paranoia. Honestly, like you don't know what this energy type is, you don't shoot. That's standard practice. Um, but that appears to be what yeah, it was just something that they didn't know what it was. Enough energy they didn't know what it was. Okay. All right. So has the Ardestian here transmitted the Cochrane perspective on that encounter?
Yes, that happened actually before that
Okay.
came through. What the Ardestian on their side said this is interesting. We're going to have to look deeper into this. I suppose this does warrant further investigation. All right, we will give you what you're requesting, and then you get the thing that you just looked at.
All right. So I'm going to try to kind of initiate conversation with the Ardestian that's here. Um, and basically, I'm going to present a request, a potential scenario in which a representative of the Ardestians and a representative of the Terrans come together on a neutral place, which is going to be Tavar, because that's the only thing I can think of. But it's the idea of it's a table that isn't owned by either of them. With me encouraging conversation to try to come to an understanding and a peace, and ask if that's something that can be a goal. I don't expect it to be something that they agree to right now, but that is my goal here, is to be able to negotiate terms of them not fighting anymore.
That is absolutely a roll.
Diplomacy.
Diplomacy and
The same roll.
Same roll. Because you are trying to persuade.
This was, I think, 76.
I think
Yeah. So.
it's 74 and 77. So. Okay.
Well, there you go.
So you're actually
That's
basically
that's a 12, sir.
you're on a party line right now, basically. So you're actually already also talking to the one on the other end. So it's all just kind of together.
That's what clean dice look like, by
That
the
is
way.
what clean dice look like.
Yeah.
Remember, folks, PSA: clean your dice. Clean your dice.
All right. So one of the others is going to say, "This is a decision for someone above my level, but I will communicate this to the appropriate people. Keep this channel open. I will get back as soon as I have any answer." Our destiny is going to say, "Very well. Glory to the Empire." One of the others end says, "Glory to the Empire. Communication ends."
I'm going to then, because we don't know much about this Ardestian's needs. I'm going to show the Ardestian a few things in rapid succession. One is essentially me on my planet with the food that I eat, and another is like humans on Earth with like the food that they eat, and then I'm going to show it no idea what's behind it.
Wait, which our destiny are you
Basically,
trying
I'm
to talk
asking
to?
it, the one that's right here on our ship.
Okay.
I'm asking this Ardestian what it needs to live comfortably in this space while we're waiting for the next step of this process.
Like food, you mean?
I'm
Sustenance.
food, environmental needs, like yeah. I mean, does it need to be in liquid? Do we need to be establishing a liquid thing here? Does it need like an atmosphere? Like I'm showing food and environment for each for the other races, and then basically just showing it that I have no idea what goes in those blanks for it.
Alright, he's going to say, now that you mentioned it, I am quite hungry. If you look in this data core here, which... Oh, I wish you hadn't found this. You will find a section that includes information on our provisions. And if you can find some way to replicate those, that would be much helpful. Especially if you want to keep me around, alive.
Excellent. So I will then I don't have where even is that just computer? Is there
I mean, no, you can just access it at this point. That's not
okay?
difficult. We've already cracked that, so you can you find it does
I
consume
meant like
water.
I meant
What?
right.
It
I
does
meant like
consume.
programming its needs into into the replicator.
Oh, well, first of all, water is easy, so that's a
Yeah.
easy first step. Um, you're gonna see foodstuffs in there that really the replicator would not have any difficulty creating like the basics of it. I mean, it's basically gonna be like paste, but nutrient paste.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be able to meet its nutrient needs, so that's not hard. So that's not even programming. That's just like
Kind of like the Aosians.
something like that. And what you're going to see is it's literally going to psionically lift that stuff and just like it's just going to absorb it through the big white thing in front of its stomach.
Yeah. I'm going to show it kind of the interface there to like request more of that, and I'm imagining that there's a way to like edit that, right?
Um, well, yeah, you can
Like
program in
like if
like
I order a steak dinner, I can
and we're lagging again.
like if I ask for a steak dinner, I can edit it so that it knows that I want it like medium rare and this stuff.
Yes. Considering it can't vocalize, you're able to program in like a preset that it can like, with its own clause, like just hit this, and this, and it'll. So it's got water and it's got nutrient paste.
Okay, I mean that's the best I can do right now. So
Yes. All right. So I'm gonna say, so do you plan on keeping me in that tank the entire time?
no, you're here.
So I'm just going to be able to roam freely. Where I assume that's not the case. Remember, you got to visualize stuff for it.
Yeah. No, I'm going to show it kind of having free reign within this room, but there are guards outside of the room.
So yeah, you're in one of the now unoccupied crew quarters, I guess, then, because
Yeah.
we lost a few people. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some empty rooms.
You say this is an awful lot of trust you're extending to me.
Um, I'm going to basically show it that like I'm asking a lot of trust of it. Like, um, essentially, I'm going to show it like a set of scales, and just show that like where he's putting stuff on one side, I'm putting stuff on the other side. Like we're just, I can't demand from you and not offer anything.
It gets the general ideas. Say,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I suppose I'm still your prisoner, but at least I'm conscious, so that's an improvement.
Right. I'm also going to show it how to like alert me if it has anything to communicate with me if it needs anything
And that's going to
or
be
has a request or anything.
well, that's interesting because you got to be psionically communicating with it in order for it to do that. But what you can show it how to do is basically send an alert, just a general alert
Yeah.
that comes to you.
Yeah. That's all it. Yeah, that's basically it. Just this is my pager, but
Perfect.
I guess I don't know.
All right. Well, you are going to leave it and close the door.
And I'm going to go straight to the captain and report.
And I believe that report will mark the end of tonight's session. Extra 10 minutes of fun. Thanks, Tim.
He's going the extra mile.
He is going the extra mile, about 3 seconds slow, too. It's great. All right, so let's let Tim give a 3-second delay spiel about Extra Life and go.
All right, awesome. Well, also don't forget. I feel like I think we earned some PowerPoints.
Oh,
for
and
saying
yeah,
PvP dubs.
you get your point for this one. That's make sure you wrote down your roles, whoever did one.
Yeah, so this is Rabbit Haberdashery. We are a team in Extra Life. We do everything basically that happens on this channel happens in support of Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So I would, Eric, if you'd be so kind as to put the Rabbit link back up.
Boom, done.
I'm gonna awesome. So check out that link. Help us help kids. You can go there, check our roster. You can donate to any of the hospitals that we are supporting. Within this group right now, we have support for Boston Children's Hospital, for Rady Children's Hospital, and for the Children's Hospital of the King's Daughter. So go ahead and check those out. Every cent you donate goes to the hospital. None of it goes to overhead. None of it comes to us. It all goes to help kids in the hospital to get the care they need, to get the entertainment they need to live as kids in their hospital while they're getting treatment, for supplies, for testing devices, and things like that. So I would encourage you to please help us do that. Also, keep an eye out. We have more stuff coming up in this channel. Monday nights we have Pathfinder, the Anders March story. Tuesday nights we have, or Tuesday we have the Haberdasher's reviews, which actually I have an Xbox that I'm going to hook up in here now because we got a new one that arrived today. So I'll be able to do Starfield that way. And also Wednesday we have the Two Brothers Gaming, which is getting very near the end of the Road to Oblivion. They're going to be facing Oblivion very soon. What are you down to, like 3 people?
So actually, we're gonna be posting a lot of this. The road to Oblivion is clear. We cleared them. all of them now. It's just Oblivion himself. But also, so that date is pending very soon. It takes longer than an average Wednesday. So I think next Wednesday we're gonna actually do a villain tier list. We're gonna do a tier. We did tier list for heroes. We're gonna do a tier list for villains now that we've wiped the board of them. We feel that we've found the optimal combination of heroes. So yeah, stay tuned. That's gonna be fun. That's coming up in the very near future.
Awesome. And then, of course, next Thursday is more of this Star Trek Lexington Last of the Line.
Yeah.
That following Sunday, we will have In Memoriam. And In Memoriam is going to be the game that we're playing for Extra Late. So check this channel out Saturday, November 4th, and Sunday, November 5th, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be doing our 24-hour campaign story, In Memoriam. I keep wanting to call it Brave New World, but that's not New World Order. In Memoriam, New World Order is going to be the climax of In Memoriam. That's going to be our Extra Life event this year, November 4th and 5th. So keep an eye out for that.
That it? All right, that is it. All right, y'all got your one PowerPoint that you have very much earned tonight. Sad for those who weren't here to get theirs, even though they actually had roles, but sucks to be them. I mean, right? Imagine letting real life get in the way of this. Losers. Anyhow, I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, so that was fun. Good game all. Really enjoyable. One of the best we've had in a while, I think. So, with that, about all I can say is see you all next week. Live long
And we didn't have any war crimes.
No.
No,
we didn't.
no, we didn't.
Because
No, we
Fish
didn't.
wasn't here, man. No, even.
He'll double that up for next week. Don't worry.
Oh, don't. You better not tell me that. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Live long and prosper.